Good morning. How we all doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's see what there's to talk about today from the world of boxing. Let's start with this one. Craig Richards out of his fight with Bolotniks. So disappointed because I knew this fight was going to catch fire. Like, I still think it's a good card, but this was the fight where I thought, okay, Bolotniks only knows one way, which is forward. Craig Richards, yes, I know people accuse him of starting slow, but I think we saw in the bouts fight, he can actually start on the front foot very quickly. And I just thought this fight was going to be a very, very good fight. Not 50-50, I edged to Richards, but I thought it was going to be a really good fight. But look, Richards is out. I think they've said that he's ill. And you've got to make these tough decisions. Me knowing Richards, he probably would have wanted to continue with the fight. But at this stage of his career, when you think of Richards' age, you can't take risks. I think you can't take them. I know most fighters don't go into the ring 100%, but you've got to be at least 80. And if he's ill, he's ill. Because after the fight, if it wasn't a good performance and he came out and said, look, guys, I was ill, you know what the boxing fans are like. They're like, oh, whatever. So at least he's taking the decision to say, okay, you know what, we're not going to do this one. And we'll come back again in the new year when we are, you know, as good as can be. Because again, you can't afford a slip up at this stage of your career, of your Richards. You can't. I spoke about the importance of this fight. I said, look, if he looks good, then maybe there's the Callum Smith fight out there for him. So yeah, Richards is out of the fight card, which again, disappointing, but the show must go on. What I have seen, and you guys have probably recognized it as well, a much more aggressive Dillian Whyte. In the press conference, the weigh-ins are going to kick off in a few hours. I'm sure that he's going to go nose to nose with Franklin. I wanted to see this aggression when he was fighting Tyson Fury. I wanted to see this. We didn't see this at the press conference. We certainly didn't see it at the weigh-in. It's good to see. Now, some might say, well, yeah, you know, he's a bit of a bully here. He's bullying the smaller Franklin. Maybe, but I hope that we get this kind of aggression in the ring as well because, as I said, I think this is a very, very important fight for Dillian Whyte. And I like it. I don't mind this type of aggression. Franklin looks very cool and composed, doesn't he? Like very assured of himself, not really talking, not saying much. I think that's just his character. I interviewed him a few weeks ago and he didn't really say much in the interview. So I think he's more a case of, I'll let my fist do the talking. It could be nerves, right? This is the big stage now. This is his biggest fight of his career. He wins this one. I mean, Eddie's been open and honest saying, look, the winner, and it's not just Dillian Whyte, the winner could fight AJ. So if you're Jermaine Franklin, I mean, you're talking jackpot. He'll be getting good money for this fight. But if he wins, if he knocks out Dillian Whyte, and by the way, I mean, Dillian Whyte's the big favourite, but Franklin's got a chance here. We still don't know what Dillian Whyte's going to turn up. If he knocks out Dillian Whyte, it is jackpot for Franklin. So looking forward to the main event. Really looking forward to the co-main. That's a genuine 50-50 fight. Some might even edge to Gorman as a slight favourite, 55-45. But this is a really good fight for the British title, as it should be, right? I mean, the British title should be a 50-50 scrap. It shouldn't be one fighter as a big favourite. Congratulations as well, by the way, to Fabio Wardley. I mean, this guy, no amateur career, zero amateur career, a couple of white-collar fights. The most I would have expected from someone having done that start to their career would have been an area title. An area, maybe English. To fight for a British, I mean, it shows how well that he's done so far in his career. But I think Gorman's just such a skilled fighter. Looks in better shape as well. Mentally seems to be in a good place. I think this is a big ask for Wardley, but we know Wardley's got the power. So do you favour the power and the athleticism of a Wardley, or do you prefer maybe the all-round natural boxing ability of Gorman? We don't know. All right, let's talk about the fight that got announced yesterday. Liam Smith will take on Chris Eubank Jr. at middleweight in January, and it's live on Sky Sports Box Office. We'll talk about the pay-per-view element of it because I know a lot of people, again, it's funny, right? We were just talking about Fury Chisora a couple of days ago. Now we've got another one where people are questioning whether or not it's pay-per-view, but we'll discuss that in a minute. Firstly, just the fight, love it. Absolutely love it. Whether or not it's pay-per-view, that's a whole different discussion, but just in terms of Liam Smith, who is a big 154. He really should be fighting at 160. him versus Eubank Jr. is a fight that I really can't wait to see. I've said, I was speaking to one of Chris Eubank Jr.'s friends in Abu Dhabi, a few weeks ago. We were talking about the fight, and I said, look, I edged to Liam Smith. I said, I am very much a case of what have you done for me lately? And I thought Liam Smith looked good against Vargas. Liam Smith looked good against Anthony Fowler as well. So I edged to Liam Smith, and look, he spoke about the size, and I said, look, I've been around both. Naturally, Liam Smith's bigger. Liam Smith probably walks around bigger than Eubank Jr. Eubank's always lean. Liam Smith is a very big guy, hence why he's got the nickname Beefy. He's a big guy. So I don't think the size difference is going to play too big a part here. I know a lot of people said things like Chris is picking on a smaller guy. Again, he's not. He's actually not picking on a smaller guy. Liam Smith's a big 154 pounder, and I think Liam Smith at this stage of his career should be at 160 anyway. It's such a good fight, it's an intriguing fight as well because, again, by the way, this is what Liam Smith went to Sky for. I do believe that Liam Smith, who has been fighting on DAZN, when he was offered to go to Sky, this was one of the fights that was put to him, like Eubank Jr. So I remember when they made Conor Benn versus Eubank, Liam Smith was upset, and it's weird how it all seems to work out in the end. But yeah, I do like the fight. The pay-per-view element of it, I guess you if you're Sky, you are trying to capitalize on the fact that Eubank's name is really out there right now, right? It's everyone knows who he is. If you didn't before, you certainly do now, and I'm sure most would have before anyway. And I think what we saw with the build-up with this Eubank and Conor Benn fight is that Eubank is fantastic on the mic. Like, honestly, I'm just so upset with him that we haven't seen a lot of this before in the past. I mean, he could have been such a big star, win or lose fights, if we saw more of this personality. I love it. I know some people don't, but I'm a big fan of it. And I feel like they're trying to capitalize on all of that right now. I wish I could do the face-off for this one. Obviously not. It will be the main man, Johnny Nelson, who's going to do an absolutely fantastic job on it. But look, I think they're trying to capitalize on it. If it wasn't for this Eubank Conor Benn thing, would this be a pay-per-view fight? Probably not. Obviously, they've not announced the price. I'm guessing it's going to be $19.95. It's very rare that it isn't that price, unless obviously people take the piss and go $26.95. But this is almost one that I think if you're going to do pay-per-view, should probably be 15 quid. It's one of those ones, right? Be smart and do it as 15 quid. There isn't going to be a stacked undercard just because, unfortunately, for Sky, they don't have that many fighters. That everyone's just, it's all spread thin, isn't it? You've got some fighters on DAZN, you've got some fighters on Matchroom, you've got some fighters on Wasserman. It's all spread very thin, so no one can really stack the card. So those sort of people are saying, okay, but they've got to stack the card. Stack it with what? There isn't that much to stack it with. But I don't know, man. My honest opinion, not a pay-per-view fight, but it's a really, really good fight. And some might say, well, then that's a pay-per-view fight. Not necessarily. And look, by the way, I'm going to put it out there now. I do favour Liam Smith to beat Eubank Jr. Won't be easy. I mean, I'm talking razor-thin points decision, razor-thin. But again, I look at what Liam Smith's done recently. I like what he did against Anthony. Even the fight that he had in Russia, which he lost by unanimous decision. But if you go back and watch it, he actually won. So he's on a good run right now. That fight in Russia, Fowler was heated. Two Liverpudlians coming together. And then Vargas, I thought he really started to go through... it was Vargas, wasn't it? Started to really go through the gears. So I like the fight, man. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. Should be a good one. Not pay-per-view, though. Just my opinion. Not pay-per-view. All right, let's see what else is out there before we pack up. By the way, I'm using this mic today because the battery ran out. And to be fair, this is better than this, but this is just a lot easier. But let's see how this sounds. Maybe I don't go back to it. Who knows? Liam Williams feels he would drill British rivals. I'd KO Felix Cash, Denzel Bentley. I don't know if you would. I'm not sure where Liam Williams is yet. I heard that in the lead up to that fight with Chris Eubank Jr., I'm not giving him excuses. I heard that camp wasn't great. A lot of fighters come out and say camp was amazing. I heard it actually wasn't amazing for him. And look, credit to him, right? Because he got kind of, got bashed up in the first few rounds, but he had to dig deep, and he dug deep, and it went to points, didn't it, against Eubank Jr. But I'm not quite sure. I thought Denzel Bentley looked good against Alan Canali. Felix Cash, I'm not quite sure where Felix Cash is, but I don't think he drills any of those guys, if I'm honest with you. We'll see. Liam Smith, I'm massively confident that I can beat Chris Eubank Jr., as he should be. Again, as he should be. It's funny, back to that actually. I mean, Callie Sowland's done an interview recently, didn't he? And he said he still thinks that you can make Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. I don't know how he thinks that. I'm not quite sure. Again, look, we have no idea what's going on with Conor Benn, by the way. People stopped asking the questions. Eddie really stopped answering those questions as well. I guess it's nothing really now to do with Eddie Hearn. But we don't know how long Conor Benn's going to be out of the ring for. And if the fight were to be made again, like hypothetically, it's not going to be at no catch weight. Chris Eubank Jr. is not going to accept that anymore. He's not going to accept a rehydration clause again. So I just don't see how you make it. I mean, is Conor Benn going to go all the way to 160? He might do. He might want to do it that way, right? Especially if he's out of the ring for a long time. His body might naturally grow out of the 147 division, but I just can't see it. I can't see it happening. If I'm Chris Eubank Jr. and if I beat Liam Smith, all systems go. Literally, I'm telling Callie, all my team, all systems go for Gennady Golovkin. You've got to go for GGG. You've got to get in front of all the ones that want GGG there. Munguia's called out GGG. You've got to get in front of all them. And I think a GGG fight over here, especially again, if he looks good against Liam Smith, you can sell the GGG fight over here, and you can do it in an arena, and it will sell out immediately. I think GGG's got that pull, and I think Eubank's got that pull as well. So that's what you should be. You shouldn't be looking at Conor Benn anymore. I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. I really do. Another great fight this weekend. Again, it's a shame that we're doing this with 2 fight cards on at the same time. But Zach Parker versus John Ryder, really good fight, honestly. I note that, or I've seen that a lot of people are favouring Zach Parker in this fight. I mean, I don't know, man. Ryder, I don't think he beat Danny Jacobs, if I'm honest with you. It was close. So that's the level that he's been fighting at. And I know some of you might say, well, Jacobs is done, but still, Jacobs is a skilled fighter, very, very skilled fighter. So we've seen Ryder at that level. We haven't seen Parker at that level, anywhere near that level. Ryder's a tough night's work for a lot of people because he really sticks in your chest. He's not going to try and have a boxing match with you. He'll close the distance very quickly, sit in your chest and start sort of wailing away at the body and the head. I like Ryder a lot. I really do. No one really beats... Like, you think of Ryder's losses, especially when you think of the Callum Smith one. And Callum Smith won the Billy Joe Saunders. Callum Smith, I thought he beat, if I'm honest with you. Billy Joe Saunders was very, very close as well. He's not an easy night's work for anybody. Zach Parker naturally is a lot bigger, a lot longer. But again, Ryder will close that distance. Let's see if Zach Parker's got has he got dynamite in his hands to make Ryder not want to come in, so Ryder second-guess himself. If he has, then we'll see. If not, it's a tough night's work for Zach Parker. It really is. Eddie Hearn here saying White needs to impress and show that he has a lot left. Yes, he does. I've kind of said that on numerous occasions. Yes, he does. We'll see what Dillian White does have left. Sometimes, I think we always say this about the lower weight classes, maybe because, making weight's tough, but we always say, like, Father Time catches up to you very quickly. And for Dillian White, you just never know, man. You never know. I don't think Franklin's the guy to ask the questions, but if Franklin does ask questions, then I guess it even raises more questions as to what's left with Dillian White. I hope that we see a good Dillian White because I've mentioned a few fights I want him to have. Andy Ruiz, Parker. He spoke about Fury, but forget that. AJ, possibly. But he's got to look good. We'll see what happens. Abel Sanchez is giving Furman little to no chance against Errol Spence. Yep, agreed. Don't give him anything. Honestly, I don't. I give Furman his respect as a former unified champion, but no, not for me. No. I think Spence... I wouldn't... Spence doesn't destroy him, but Spence beats him. Like, Spence beats him 10 out of 10. Honestly, unless Spence gets injured or doesn't take it seriously, Spence beats him 10 out of 10. Bivol on Beterbiev fight. It depends on our promoters. Can't just say I want to fight this guy. Let's hope, man. We want undisputeds. We want to know who the number one is in a division. I mean, most of the divisions we kind of are starting to see who is the best in the division. This one is really up for grabs. I think if you ask 100 people, it really is split. Bivol's done good work recently against Ramirez and Canelo, and Beterbiev's done some good work as well. Yard fight coming up. I can't wait for that fight, by the way. Honestly, I can't wait for that fight. It's like, it's weird out. Look, I get it. Fury Chisora is the one that's on pay-per-view. But honestly, this is the Yard Beterbiev is a fight I'm more interested in. I really am interested in Yard Beterbiev, you know, because as close as the fight gets, I start to make a reason why I think Yard could get the job done. Don't get me wrong. Look, Beterbiev is a favourite, and he's a big favourite, right? But there's something about Yard. I don't know if it's that arrogance, that confidence, that youthfulness. I know he's in his 30s, but, you know, Beterbiev's, 38? He's got power. He's very, very big at the weight. I know a lot of people say Beterbiev's big at the weight, so is Yard. And you know, he doesn't have that. Yard ain't scared. Like, Yard's got this arrogance / confidence. I don't know where it comes from, right? But he's got it, and that helps a lot. But yeah, look, we'll see what Beterbiev does. If he does get through Yard, then all systems should be go for Bivol, especially now that Canelo has said that he wants a warm-up fight before he takes on a Bivol. We'll see what happens, by the way. Back to that potential warm-up fight. I mean, it could be the winner of Parker versus Ryder, you know? It should be. Shakur Stevenson, blast Isaac Cruz. I turn pits into poodles. Shakur Stevenson's been aiming a lot at everyone, hasn't he? On social media. Everyone's been getting it. I like that fight, you know? I do like that fight. Shakur Stevenson has come out, though, and said, look, I don't want to look backwards. I want Lomachenko or Devin Haney. That's what I want. I want those two guys. And I like that, right? I want to fight the best in the division. Unfortunately, though, as you step into a division, as good as Shakur Stevenson is, and probably could be the best lightweight out there, could be, you've got to fight someone else first. I don't think you can just go straight to the number one or number two. I think you've got to have a fight first, and Isaac Cruz is definitely a good fight. What's this one? Canelo. I wasn't 100% in the Bivol fight. He can't give anything more. I can. Bivol can give more. Bivol 100% can give more. That was a Bivol that I think when you go into, I interviewed him. You guys saw that. When you're going into what is the Lion's Den against a heavy favourite, you're not going to be as confident as Bivol was. You're not going to be that sure, right? You're going in there, you're not going to be that sure. Now he knows he can beat him. Like Bivol's almost just unlocked another level in his brain and his ability, because he knows now how good he is. I think you go into that Canelo fight as an underdog and you're not quite sure. You're not going to be that sure of yourself, because you're like, whoa, this is the biggest test I've ever had. Watching him, though, sort of go through the gears against Canelo and then continue to go through those gears against Ramirez, he now knows he's a pound for pounder. So he's going into that ring against Canelo second time round, whether it be at 168 or 175, knowing I'm better than you and I'm going to show you again. That fight happens again, I'm favouring Bivol again. I am Team Bivol all the way. Team Bivol all the way. Anything else? Prograis versus the Pader this weekend, isn't it? Jesus Christ, that's a good one. That's a good one. I know Prograis spoken about wanting to have that Josh Taylor fight again. Got to get past the Pader first, man. That's not easy. I think we are done. Yeah, I think we are done, people. Very quick one. That hopefully you're all doing well. To my American viewers, happy Thanksgiving. I have still no idea what that celebration is, but happy whatever. Guys, if you can, tune in to The Zone tomorrow. I will be hosting. I need all your prayers and all your good luck. Spread it over me, because sometimes it can get, you don't know what's going on in that host seat, by the way. I'm not joking. You got someone in your ear, someone in your ear there, you're trying to control it. It can be a bit crazy. but we always get the job done. Peace and love.